Beyond the perception, there was indeed a seismic shift. What good friend Ikua is saying about Ol Kalou, this was what we say eponymous. I mean, it was wholly unexpected on the side of the Ruto camp. Even they were shell-shocked that this actually did happen, but it was going to happen. In my humble view, this was supposed to be the outcome in Barra North, but they stole the election. I mean, we saw whatever happened. The replication of the violence in Ol Kalou has happened in Barra North, but without the outcome in Barra North is what, in my view, has shell-shocked and rattled Ruto, in my view, plus his camp. It was wholly unexpected. But I think the game changer, what it is that is marketed different in Ol Kalou from Barra North, and I'm going to come to Emurua Dikir, because in Emurua Dikir, I think there was the expectation among the voters that really the government will be faithful to the electoral code of conduct. They will conduct, at least they will confine themselves to the rules of the game. And in my humble view, there was no expose in Emurua Dikir. It did happen in a replicated fashion, as indeed it happened in Ol Kalou. It's only that there was no expose about it. And that exposure, in my view, would have, enabled the voters there to have a different outcome. Because for DCP, in my view, to have garnered over 10,000, was over 10,000 votes in Emurua Dikir, and given at least it is not as, a grown-up political party, if I'm to use that expression with respect, as UDA, then you can see that that is a monumental change. So the perception on the ground is that UDA actually has lived up to the expectation of the larger population of the Kenyan people. It was going to engage in violence. It was going to try and corrupt the electoral process. It was going to maneuver and chest thump and say that we actually will win and will go. With all that euphoria that it did have, then they became blinded to the fact that this is a different ground. And the different ground is that you have people here who are accustomed, quote unquote, to your theatrics, to your lying, to your trying to buy them, to your deception. And because you can see, all of a sudden, there were development, quote unquote, projects that were supposed to be launched and, given out in Ol Kalou. What timing is this? A coincidence. And they forgot that this is the same, quote unquote, political monster that the Ol Kalou people had seen before. And in the 2024 finance bill shenanigans that happened, this is the same Kenya Kwanzaa that actually had, abducted and killed their own people. And therefore, the Ol Kalou voter had, as it were, come of age, and therefore was able then to distinguish, dichotomize between the propaganda that is being peddled on him or her by the Kenya Kwanzaa government, by the UDA political edifice, vis-a-vis the expectation what they have, plus, and this is more fundamental to me, the projected way forward. And this projected way forward is what enabled them to, quote unquote, guard their own votes. And look at the political tactic that was employed by DCP. It took this UDA brigade completely off guard. The youth were able to barricade roads such that vehicles were not able to access the polling stations in a manner that would have enabled stuffing of ballots, for instance, the exchange, the chaos that would have erupted, and so on and so forth. The voting style sort of like changed, that the younger people would vote in the morning and therefore be available, quote unquote, to guard the polling stations, and then the elderly would then vote at the last. This is a shift that UDA did not have. The playbook that they had, in my view, in Barra North couldn't play out here in Ol Kalou. This was a different political terrain, and it totally shook them off. So going forward, in my view, this has rattled Ruto in a very big way because of the domino effect of the outcome of the Ol Kalou political vote. You can hear now in Busia, or in the coast. Now, wait a minute. The seismic shift has even been felt in Tanzania. You can see videos circulating, even in Nigeria, that look, you don't know those kind of people. I mean, you see, the police actually are being subjected to searches. I mean, we've never seen this before. So I'm saying, going forward, the expectation that the Ruto's UDA had of Ol Kalou was completely turned upside down.
Right.
And now, between now and 2027, the question is, does he have sufficient time to launder that image, which in my view, he cannot. Yes. And it's completely tattered. And that's why you can hear the reverberation of the Wantam.
And if we focus on now the aftermath, because I know we've done enough analysis of what happened in Ol Kalou. If you look at the dailies today, and I'll start off with the Star, they usually ensure that the spread on page 4 and 5 is a main story on the front page.